13 computers.
13 computers. So before we push record, I was explaining to Dorian how wonderfully eventful my morning has been since 4 o'clock this morning. It's now 11 o'clock, and I just finally ate breakfast. Um,
After having been to Walmart and troubleshot four monitors.
4 monitors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then set up a new one. Went to Walmart and bought a new one. I don't know if I want to let this cat out of the bag on my little discovery this morning, though.
Keep that close to your chest. There's going to be like a whole like PLF outing to Walmart to be like, what was Laser Shark talking about?
Yep. Yep. I'll tell you what. The Walmart in Kingston, New York is gigantic. I forgot. I went to the Walmart by my house in Atlanta closed, surprisingly, which I don't know that I've ever heard. I've never heard of a Walmart closing before. But it was pretty ghetto. And so I don't know if it was just like, God only knows what goes on behind closed doors in a place like that. So I go to this Walmart because Target's not open at 6:30 in the morning. And I walk in there and I was just like, Jesus Christ, what am I doing here? This place is massive. There's just so much shit everywhere.
Yeah.
They got Halloween decorations up already.
Oh, nice.
It's July. Give me a break. Can we at least wait until the school year starts?
Yeah. I agree, but I'm happy to see Halloween getting that treatment because Christmas has been getting this treatment for far too long.
Yeah.
Where it's like the day after Halloween, there's like Christmas music playing, and it's like,
they basically just here. I mean, at this point, it goes from holiday to holiday. So it's like, I guess the second Easter's over, you start seeing fireworks and fucking American flags. Mm-hmm. And then the second 4th of July is over, you start seeing pumpkins and candy corn. And then the second Halloween's over, you start seeing Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman. So it's just crazy endless cycle of preparing for the next holiday.
Yeah. Well, and it was at Home Depot and Walmart seem to be engaged in this arms race to create like the biggest, craziest like Halloween decorations every year from like the 10-foot skeleton.
Yeah, the inflatables and the robotics have definitely gotten out of control. There was a funny thing on Howard Stern about that. This is a few years back, but Ronnie the limo driver, he's this crazy old man, and he bought like a giant like inflatable dragon as like a Christmas decoration or some shit. And like his neighbors were like breaking his balls, and like I guess some of the other staff members like secretly like drove by his house and filmed it and like interviewed all of his neighbors. And, like, they were clowning on him so hard. They were like, "What the fuck does a dragon have to do with Christmas?" He's like, "I thought it was cool. So I got it. What's the big deal?"
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, frankly, like, a fat bearded man who crawls down your chimney has about as much to do with Christmas as a dragon. So,
well, I mean, there's
into the,
listen,
purest definition of what Christmas is. Yeah.
Listen, I actually watched the video about how Coca-Cola invented modern Christmas back in the 20s or whatever it is. Here's the thing, though. That was over 100 years ago. It's canon.
It's canon now. It's true.
You just got to accept it. And honestly, they did a great job.
Yeah.
I can't really argue with any of it. I miss like what Christmas looked and felt like when I was a kid. Even though my Christmases sucked and I got like one shitty present every year, I still really enjoyed the essence of it all.
Yeah.
And, rosy cheeks and all that fun stuff.
Agreed. That was, I was lucky enough to have like awesome fucking Christmases. And it was that is a feeling that I'll probably be chasing the rest of my life and never find again anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm hopeful because I think, and it's probably the same where you live, but I feel like Christmas is more celebrated in the sense of like outward whatever, right? Decorations and all the things in colder environments.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas felt almost non-existent in the South.
Sure. Yeah. I was in the Chicago suburbs, so yeah, it was always winter wonderland type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that now that I'm back in New York, I think Christmas will become a little bit more, hopefully more. Obviously, the kid makes it more special,
I
but
was gonna ask, yeah,
yeah,
like,
I mean it's crazy,
Hudson celebrating it, bring back,
dude.
yeah,
Last year was like the most bananas thing I've ever experienced in my life because like you watch a child turn a corner very quickly when like under those circumstances all of a sudden he's so much more cognizant of what's happening because he has the realization that like this all of this stuff in front of him is for him. And so now all of a sudden like he's talking a little bit more and he's a little bit more like understanding of the situation. It's interesting to see those like kind of landmark moments and how they impact development. Where like he understood like, okay, we're all going to take turns because so Christina's family, they partake in what could potentially be the most absurd Christmas ever. Every year that I've spent Christmas with her family, it's like an 8-hour extravaganza of Jesus. Opening presents and then doing this, like making some food. You have to take breaks. There's like intermissions during like the present opening. That's how crazy they go.
There's multiple sets.
There are multiple sets of, and like her mom like gets creative with like hiding things in the tree or like she'll come up with these like extravagant kind of things. And I mean it's really cool that she goes so far out of her way to do it, but like they'll like multiple presents will be connected to like one bigger like experiential thing or something like that. So like I'm trying to think of a good example, but like if you were going on like a camping trip, right? She would like get you the camping trip, but she would also get you a new sleeping bag. She would get you some wool socks and she would, and so like it all kind of like ties together and it's like this,
and would it be this progression of gifts? Like first you get the socks, then you get the sleeping bag.
Exactly.
And then finally, and guess what? Here's the
exactly. Yeah. So it's a wild day at the Zelisko residence.
Wow,
but yeah, Hudson,
quite a marathon.
Hudson was all about it. So I can't wait. Hopefully we actually get some fucking snow because I think that's I mean, to me, if I had my way, it would literally snow every day from November 3rd until March 12th.
I would kind of be way into that. It's also, I don't know how it's been in New York, but in Chicago, the past few years, the winters have been like really mild.
Yeah, I mean, I think that can be said across the board.
It seems like it. But yeah, very little snowfall, sadly.
Yeah,
it's been kind of a bummer because like actually Hannah and I love going for walks when the city's covered in snow. It's like because nobody's out. It's this complete transformation that occurs and like this whole kind of like membrane that just covers everything and just paints it all in a whole new light. It's so cool. Yeah. It's like a really special thing. And we've had scant, if any, opportunities to do so the past like few years.
Well, hopefully, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Yeah. We'll see if people actually get their shit together.
But I had a memory came flooding back to me while we were talking about when you mentioned Atlanta and Christmas and not being cold. I was like, you know what? Honestly, the first time I remember being somewhere where it was warm at that time of year was Fish Big Cypress. In 2000. That was like, I was 18. That was the first... Christmas was always at home, or if we did stuff with our family, my mom's family, which we usually did most of our family stuff with, was in Ohio. So it was, it was a lateral move in terms of weather. But yeah, we were in Florida for Big Cypress and we were staying at like my friend's uncle's place for a night before we went to the grounds. And I remember it was just like, I was smoking at the time. So I was like sitting outside smoking a cigarette, like on his deck, looking at a palm tree. And I'm like, what day is it again? It's like December 29th. Like, what the fuck? And it was this huge like cognitive dissonance moment where I was just like, like I knew it was warm places at this time of year, but I don't know. I never
So it's
really
a
considered the
very
reality of it. It's so
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yep. We we did this is funny this is what we're talking about, but let's go. You can tell we have no idea what we want to do today. We went to some fancy beach. I don't know. Some of Christina's like parents, best friends live down on like the west coast line of Florida. And we went down there one year for Christmas, and I was so angry. I was like, "How dare you? How dare you bring me somewhere where it's fucking 80 degrees on Christmas Day? Like, what the fuck are we doing here?" It was so weird.
Yeah,
it was
so
wrong. Weird. So I'm gonna start vacationing in. Have you ever heard of the town of Labrador?
No, I have not.
You should look it up real quick.
Labrador.
Yep.
What state?
Canada.
Oh. Labrador, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canadian province.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Fuck. Well, it looks gorgeous.
That's where I'm spending my winters. I hope you're listening to this, Christina, because that's where we're going this year.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I might be tagging along. Okay. Yeah, that looks incredible.
That's the spot right there, my friend. Yeah.
I mean, we obviously talked about this a while ago, but every time we do any kind of international travel or travel that's not like work related, just get the bug again and start, making up these crazy lists of like all the places we want to go.
And then you just end up in Japan again.
And then we end up in Japan again. But we're currently talking about another trip in between trips to Japan. So
oh, nice.
That's the conversation has evolved now. It's like, okay, well, we just kind of fell into a thing where we go to Japan every 5 years.
Yeah.
So we're like, that seems like a totally fine thing to keep up.
Yeah, but there's 4 other years to fill in.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of other places we really, really want to go. So I've definitely the international excursion a couple months ago has like given me the travel bug again, and I'm keep thinking a lot about like, man,
what's on the list?
So a big one that's been on Hannah's list for like ever is Egypt. Go see the pyramids and all that stuff. It's a bit of a shit show over there right now. It kind of always is, so it's hard to gauge like, is it really that much? But it's one of those, I think, like right now it's like one of those like red travel advisories.
Who you could talk to actually is Ethan. He was just there like last month. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sweet. Ethan was just there. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna hit up Ethan then.
He got real lucky because he was in Israel, I think, like 4 days maybe before the conflict started between them and Iran.
Yeah.
So that was crazy.
Yeah. Wild. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit him up. I'm very, very.
Yeah. He'll give you all the ins and outs. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that was his first time there or not, but he definitely seemed like he knew what he was doing while he was out there. So
cool. Yeah. No, definitely. I will definitely hit him up because that's like it's been on Hannah's list for like forever.
Yeah.
So we got to do it sometime. And then Italy. I really, really, really want to go to Italy. Never been. Huge fan of it. Most of it's because like I'm a huge fan of Italian cinema.
Sure.
And there's so many areas of Italy that I'm like, oh, I want to go there and like, see where they shot that scene from Deep Red and like stuff like that. So, and eat, of course. I want to go there to eat.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, the dudes. Well, so Christina took me to Italy for my 40th last year. And the funny part about it was that like, we've done all these European tours, but we never played Italy. And so like everyone on my mom's side of the family is from, like my grandparents are from Italy. Mm-hmm. And it was like this weird, almost like joke that the Italian kid has been to Europe like 10 times, 20 times, whatever it's been, never been to Italy, been to every other fucking country there, never been to Italy. So for my 40th, Christina planned this whole crazy extravagant vacation and we went all over the place. But yeah, the food, I mean, you could literally just walk into any place. It doesn't even matter, but you know, and you're going to get something that you're very much going to enjoy, just because the quality of ingredients and everything out there is so much better than it is here.
Yeah.
But they take so much more pride in what they do out there. That's the biggest thing I noticed. It's just like that little bit of care and attention just goes so much further.
It's everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always a big takeaway from Japan too, is like, even like people who work at 7-Eleven, if you like order something, you know, from like the food station up there, which is actually like really good there, of course.
Yeah.
They treat it like I am the chef, you know, I have
to make this
meal for this person, you know? It's like so incredible. Normally you get the like most desultory, you know, kind of service at like convenience stores here, but over there it's like, wow.
That's the funny thing about like American culture, because I feel like this is an exclusively American problem, is like you get mocked if you take your job too seriously. And there is certainly a threshold for certain people. So like, you know, like a security guard who's like on a power trip, right? But that same attitude gets like transferred in a bunch of different directions. And there's no encouragement to actually like want to do a good job. Right. Everyone just wants to just show up, be like, all right, I'm here. What am I doing? Where everywhere else are like, I'm happy to be here and I want to do a good job.
Right. Yeah. Like, why not? Whatever you're doing, take pride in it. Like, you don't feel ashamed because you're doing what you need to do to, like, you know, make ends meet or whatever the situation is. Like, it's funny. There was some article I read a while ago about basically like, you know, this exact phenomenon you're talking about with American culture has seriously affected American acting talent in film.
Sure.
Because again, like as a kid, if you're growing up, like, you know, if you're a theater kid or a drama kid or whatever, you're this object of ridicule, you know?
Yeah.
So anybody who, you know, it was like a few years ago, it was like all these like Australian and British young actors started kind of like flooding things, and they were all like super good looking, like really talented. And it's like, why are, you know, and it's like, well, because if you're like a good looking person, you know, coming up through high school in like the United States, like you're kind of like, I don't know, not quite bullied, but kind of like into pursuing sports, you know, like if you're, you know, if you look like a jock, but you start like doing theater, you become this like kind of outcast, you know?
Yep.
And whereas in those other cultures in England and Australia and stuff like that, it's like thoroughly encouraged. So
like, and celebrated. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, exactly. So now that's kind of like come to head in the acting world. But yeah, so if you've noticed that all the hot young actors are British or Australian, there's actually like a really good reason for that.
Yeah. So stop being a jerk.
Exactly. Yeah.
To people.
Totally.
It's not necessary. I will say,
go be a drama kid.
It's cool. I will say that there is another side to that story. And I do believe that we have become too soft. And people can't handle a little bit of ridicule. A little bit of ridicule is good for you.
That's true.
You should be able to fucking take it.
Yeah.
And if it gets too bad, just turn it back on them. Don't be a little bitch. But not to say that it's inappropriate, but it is. It is.
And the whole like you know,
but I think
internet element has changed. The nature of bullying, you know, quite a bit.
Sure, but like when you like, dude, I mean, I don't know how many Australians you've hung out with, but I've hung out with a handful, and they are fucking ball breakers.
They really are.
And so it's like, you know, I'm sure that they got picked on too. I'm sure that they got picked on by people. They're like, fuck you, I'll pick on you back.
Yeah,
you know, that's
an opportunity to exercise your acting chops.
Yeah.
Get in there, improvise, play a character, you know?
People need to learn how to be more spiteful. That's really the secret. If you want to know the secret to being truly successful in life, learn how to become more spiteful. Because it will get you places that you never thought you could go. I promise you. I promise you with every fucking ounce of my being that I have gotten further in life through spite than probably anything else.
As a direct result of the spite, or has the spite like kind of spurred you to challenge yourself or
All of it. All of the above. All of the above. It doesn't matter what the real pathway was. Spite is rocket fuel. Spite is rocket fuel for progress. And if you just learn how to harness it, because it can blow up in your hands for sure. Mm-hmm. And it has many times. But if you can learn how to harness it, to the moon, baby.
Yep. This is like the best piece of advice that's ever been given on a podcast.
Probably, maybe. I mean, I'll tell you what, we did some good stuff last week. Last week was a fun show. I hope I hope some of the new folks who tuned in for the first time are listening this week. Thank you for a sweaty, jovial time. I had to move my studio into the house because it was just too oppressive in that garage. So now I'm in this bright white room, and it makes me feel just as uncomfortable as it did being in that dark, sweaty garage.
Well, I like that you've got the painting behind you positioned on top of the couch, so it's like signaling that there is an intention to decorate this space. It's not.
Well, this is hopefully the last time that we record. Not in my new studio. Mm-hmm. So I finally signed the lease on a studio space, and
amazing.
I will be next week. I will be moving into it, and hopefully realizing a lot of. The other thing that is really valuable besides spite is self-deprecation, and those two things mixed together, that's quite a deadly combination.
There's a way to balance extremes.
I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was basically
I hate you almost as much as myself.
yeah exactly. I don't remember who I was talking to, but basically, the whole premise of the conversation was I was talking about how excited I was finally getting into the studio space, finally going to have room to like set all my stuff up in a cohesive and efficient manner where I don't have to, depending on what project I'm working on, I don't have to move this thing over here or do this or rerun these cables or blah, blah, blah. It's going to be set it. And it all works together. And I have this whole master plan in my mind. And basically the end result should be and will be that I can finally execute all of the terrible ideas that I've had for the last decade. And, some of them may turn out to be good. Mm-hmm. Only time will tell. But I do realize that for every good idea I have 15 terrible ideas. And the 15 terrible ideas are generally more alluring than the one good idea. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to start seeing some of those through.
Hell yeah.
And we're going to see what happens. And
I love this.
Yeah. And I've got a plan to, I'm going to build sort of a multi-camera networked ecosystem where I can film things finally, like properly.
Cool.
And share some of my experiments and share some of the processes that I use to, whether it's, the stage design stuff or the video stuff or the painting, all of the above. But I want to kind of give a little bit more of a like behind the scenes glimpse into what all of this really looks like, because I think for all of the, greatness that people see, you have to see how excruciating the process is to get there. Mm-hmm. I think it's really valuable for people. I think that's the reason why a lot of these documentary things have become so popular.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to like see what happens at the end of the rainbow. Mm-hmm. But the road to get there is just fucking miserable. But it's also so exciting. And it's like, and so like sharing that part of the process, I think will be enlightening and 100% entertaining. You will laugh at me. You definitely won't be laughing with me because I won't be laughing much. But it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I know we've got a little break here while the big man becomes a dad. Yeah. So the timing of everything is lined up really nicely where we can knock out these couple of festivals, and then I could really just like dive headfirst into creating this new space for exploration. I need a name for it. So
yeah.
Let's shoot me a DM or whatever. Tell me what you think I should call the studio, because I don't want to call it a studio.
Laser Shack?
The Laser Shack. Oh golly geez. There is you might be on to something there though, because I'm thinking about Radio Shack and I'm thinking about like old-timey electronics. What was that other place? Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Damn, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, yeah. Wasn't there a Seinfeld episode about that?
I don't remember that one.
I'm almost positive. I'm gonna have to look this up.
I mean, that seems ripe for a Seinfeld episode, but
yeah, I'm almost because the guy was like, nobody beats the Wiz. Beats the Wiz.
Yeah. Are you gonna you're gonna have a whole? Oh yeah, you said Isaac's coming up to help set up cameras and all that stuff, because like even like, I don't know if you've already done this or whatever, but even like time lapses of your paintings would be super cool to see.
Excuse me, can I borrow your attention?
Oh, sure.
Sorry I'm late.
Hey, Jared. I'd like you to meet someone. This is Jack.
There it is.
There it is.
Amazing.
Oh shit.
Fantastic. I have
Sorry, Silas. It's all right. I think it's okay. I'll deal with that later. Yeah. Should have called the Wiz. Yeah. He would have actually hung that picture up, not just propped it on the back of the couch.
There's a special place in my heart for stylized cutaway shots in sitcoms.
Oh yeah,
like that close up of him with the light on him, because that's a shot you never see in a normal. Like Seinfeld, it's like if we're at the apartment, at the diner, any sitcom, like what the like 4 camera positions are, right?
Yeah, yeah,
it's always the same. But when they have those moments where it's like, the director is like, "Hey, I've got an idea,"
Yeah.
I kind of love that, and it's fun to see them like I don't know, step out of the boundaries of the shackles of their format.
Yeah.
Flex a little cinematic muscle in there. So
I'm trying to think of another good example of that. You know who I think did a really good job with that? Do you remember that show Scrubs?
Yes, I never watched it.
I feel like they did a ton of that kind of stuff, because
that sounds right. Because I've seen a couple of Zach Braff's movies, like Garden State and stuff.
Yeah,
and he's obviously like,
he's got a vision for things, and I feel like they used to do a lot of like, not that necessarily specifically, but like different things where it's like, okay, we're gonna break out of we're a sitcom, aesthetic from time to time, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Seinfeld had another very memorable moment of that with the woman Jerry was dating who had man hands.
Oh yeah, and they would like zoom in on them, right?
They would cut to these close-ups, and it would be like some like bodybuilder wearing like,
that's blouse, right, yeah,
like, cracking a lobster in half and
shit. Well, this is, you know what? This just ended up perfect, because this is an episode about nothing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is the Seinfeld episode.
This is the Seinfeld episode.
Incredible. All right. Well, we could go into.
If we started talking more about Seinfeld, we would be breaking the rules of Seinfeld.
Yeah. But we could, however, go into like hyper anxiety inducing detail about your entire morning and take it into Curb Your Enthusiasm territory.
Well, yeah, we could always cheat. Well, actually, did you hear that Larry David actually just signed for another show on HBO?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the news just came out this morning, actually.
Okay.
I believe it's basically Curb Your Enthusiasm through history.
Okay, Jesus.
Yeah. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, my dirty secret is I am not a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, dude, it's too stressful for me. I can't. I can't.
You realize when I watch that television show, I feel like I am looking into a crystal ball.
Yeah.
That's literally all I see is like, this is my life in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see. Me with a big giant bald head with some frizzy hair on the side. If I was Jewish, forget about it. But I'm Italian, so it's close enough.
Right.
But I mean, I feel like I have those interactions in life regardless. But I feel like as I get older, it only gets worse because my patience for stupidity just has diminished almost to nothing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Christina will tell you, like, and this goes back to like the spite thing. Like, I would open a coffee shop out of spite, but you don't know that joke because you don't fucking watch the show. In like 2 seasons ago, Larry literally bought and opened a coffee shop out of spite to fuck with Mocha Joe. Like, what
you were talking the other day on the Moving Back to New York episode about there was a coffee shop, a local coffee shop, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That you were thinking about, like, I need to bring this place back to what it was.
Yeah.
I guess that's not spite, that's more nostalgia, but
that's more nostalgia. Yeah. But if I opened up a coffee shop next to the old coffee shop, that would be spite.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he did. Dude, you got to watch this show, man. It's so good. It's literally the greatest thing that's ever happened on television, besides maybe The Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, no, I know numerous people that are devotees, and yeah, I've tried a few times to watch it, and every time I'm like sitting there just like uncomfortable. I'm not entertained. I'm not like I don't know. Seinfeld like watered it down the right amount.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing.
But like the uncut, like pure like white china Larry David.
You realize that show is like 90% improvised.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I think if you were to step out of yourself and watch it with a scholarly mind and appreciate the science behind what they're doing, maybe that's your pathway in.
Yeah. I feel like I would actually enjoy it more if I saw it like performed live. Like with that level of improvisation, because like
see, no. You know why you wouldn't? This is where the beauty of television comes into play, right? Because the thing that makes that show remarkably special is their ability to acknowledge the person that isn't talking, and that, like, honestly, half of the jokes are there. In like the reactions or the responses, like the nonverbal reactions and responses to whatever is happening in the scene, because it is improvised.
Mm-hmm.
That's where half the comedy actually lies.
Yeah, and
you would never get that in theater, because you're always your attention is always going to go to the person talking,
the people that are talking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that show does a really, really, really incredible job of giving space for that part of the comedy of it all, where it's like, and Seinfeld was the same way too, but it's a lot more. What's the word I want to use here? It's more masterful, I guess. I don't know, just because of the caliber of people that are in the show, whatever the case may be. I don't know, but yeah, it's the best. It's the absolute best. It really is.
Yeah. I feel personally also, and this goes beyond even just Curb Your Enthusiasm, but in some ways, I feel like that level of improvisation in a filmed medium is a little bit of cheating.
Oh, of course, because they're
Yeah,
taking
they,
multiple takes and they're trying different things.
yep.
But I think, because they started after on like the farewell tour that they all kind of did, and I think Larry actually did a literal farewell tour where he went and did live Q&As and like a live stage show. But they like for the first time maybe ever, they were like doing podcasts and kind of talking about the process, and they had never really let the cat out of the bag so like deliberately. But they were talking about how so basically Larry would give them a premise and he'd be like, this is kind of what we're doing. And this is where it's honestly, it's almost like wrestling, right? They had a storyline and they had a finish that they were trying to get to. And everything else in the middle was made up.
Right. Yeah. You got point A and point B, but
yeah, exactly.
The road is...
yeah. And so, but the interesting thing that came out in the last maybe year or so was like JB Smoove was talking about how like he would go so far out of his way to like fuck with Larry or fuck with Jeff or fuck with somebody, and they would be like, can you go further? And he'd be like, what? and so it became this thing of like, let's just push this thing as hard as we possibly can. And then I think they would end up like pulling back, with the final cut or whatever. But I think they were testing each other's threshold for what they would like, what was really, really possible. And so like, I think at the end of the day, they're always just going to take whatever the funniest thing is, not what the most shocking thing is or whatever. Right. But I think they did a really good job of like the exercise and the execution of how they were approaching it, where, it's like, all right, there's no safety net here. There are no rules here. Obviously, there are lines that we can't cross, but let's get as close to them as we possibly can. And then let's see what happens. And, when you think about like entertainment, especially like high stakes television such as that, to be able to kind of have the bravado to go out and do that, it's a pretty fucking remarkable thing.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. It's and there's it's funny. I'm going on this upcoming Monday to see a film called Pierre Le Fou, which is a Jean-Luc Godard film from the 60s.
Okay.
The Music Box Theater in Chicago here is showing it on 35mm film on Monday for one night only. So I'm going to go because it's one of the few Godard films I've actually never seen. But basically the entire movie is improvised.
Oh, wow.
And Godard was like kind of famous for this. He was just this like really, really like clearly like restless creative, like he actually, he passed away just a couple of years ago in his like mid to late 90s, I want to say. He was still making films, and he lived in Europe, and it was assisted, termination of life, assisted suicide, whatever the term is now. And it just seemed like, from what he said before he decided to do this, it was kind of like, I'm old and I can't do as much, but like my mind won't shut up, and I'm kind of like, I'm just like done,
Yeah. I can understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, and, when you get to be like 94 and like that's still the case, but you don't have the energy to actually like do anything.
Yeah, you're just driving yourself crazy.
Yeah, because this dude spent 4 decades making like 4 movies a year. Like constant stuff, and like a lot of it really remarkable. But I'm always kind of blown away by people who have just even like the fucking, I don't know, just the balls to do that.
Yeah.
To like walk in, because I know how I get when I walk into a production that I'm directing. Like, I've got to have my shit together. I've got to be super organized, and like, sure, we'll divert from the plan, but like the plan's got to be there, so I know like what the fuck we're doing. But yeah, no, this movie and several others of his, but I know this one most famously because this was adapted from like a famous novel. I think there was like a bidding war over the book because it was so well received, and then he got it, and then he went to go like start production. Producers
He
were like,
just threw the script
"Where's
out.
the script?" And he's like, "I don't have one. I don't think he ever had one to even throw away." I think he just had like a crew and like actors in the lead roles and was like, "Let's fucking go. Let's figure it out."
Just tell everyone to read the book and just be like, let's see how it goes.
The book was definitely sort of a suggestion, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Because he was much more he was much more interested in like whatever kind of was like on his mind that day, based on like what was going on in the world or what was going on in art. Or
So basically,
like he ran with.
He just needed some names in a place.
Yep. That's pretty much it. And then he went out, and now he made this movie that now 60 years later, I'm going to a fucking movie theater, like 750 seats, that will probably be sold out.
Yeah,
to go watch.
What's it called again?
On film. It's crazy. Pierrot Le Fou.
I'm so bad at foreign languages. Pierrot Le Fou.
It's Pierrot. So Pierrot Le Fou.
Pierrot.
Yeah.
I don't know. If Christina can speak French, I can get her up here and she can tell us how to actually say it properly. Gosh, I had a thought and I just lost it. Fuck. What's his like big movie? Like there's a Godard. Breathless, that's what it is. Okay, yeah.
That was the movie that broke all the rules. Came out in 1960 and basically did everything that up till that point they told you couldn't do in a movie. Not in terms of like subject matter, a little bit. It wasn't like we're doing like shock value stuff. It was more like formal, like creative types of things, like jump cutting and like breaking continuity and like chronology and like things like that. That just nobody was considering. Everybody at that point.
Yeah, because I mean, cinema up to like, even like into the 50s was almost treated like a stage play.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It was a very like linear path, start to end.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah, Citizen Kane famously, of course, like ushered in sort of the more modern era or approach to filmmaking.
I guess
stands up for anybody who hasn't seen Citizen Kane.
Oh, it's the greatest.
It's so fucking good.
It's the greatest.
It is not like a eat your vegetables kind of like movie. Like you watch it and you're kind of shocked that like Jesus in the 40s, like somebody made this feels like a movie that gets made nowadays.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that has there been any like murmurings of a reprisal of that? I have to. Is it the last thing to be considered like sacred that no one's gonna fuck with until they really run out of ideas?
It is such sacred clay that it's like I don't think anyone will even.
I remember the first time I watched that movie, I felt like I got hit over the head with a frying pan, and I just like didn't know what was up and what was down afterwards. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like this is nuts.
Yep. It is a much more out there and freewheeling and kind of like experimental creative expression than I think a lot of people really give it credit for.
Especially for the time. Especially for the time.
Like if you watch any other movie from like that whole decade, it's like they don't even resemble each other. And like and that was the thing, when it first came out, a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this? So like all great art.
This was my thought that I had when you were talking about Godard. Jean-Luc Godard. I like that mentality that you have a hard time understanding how it works, right? Of just like showing up. I call that that's the Sorcerer Mickey mentality. Right? That's literally what it is. And that's how I feel a lot of times when I walk into situations where it's like, I'm not prepared for this whatsoever. Or maybe whatever the case may be. But it's just like, all right, I'm going to put this goofy hat on and I'm going to wave my magic wand and we're going to make things dance. And like, I think that would be the nicest, cleanest way to describe that mindset. That
is beautifully succinct,
that some of us have, right? Where it's just like, fuck, I'm supposed to be mopping the floor, but
right.
Let's go make a movie.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, it's I get it's one of those like, if I can't make something out of nothing, then like,
Yeah.
am I really the artist I think I am? Like, if
Yeah.
I'm a director, I should be able to walk into a room and be like, all right, well, let's figure it out and make something work here. And that's been a big, part of the appeal and the growth that I've experienced actually, like working with Pretty Lights and with Derek, is like being, a lot more than pursuing like a more, traditional, so to speak, film career, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Working with this crew, it's like you're very much like constantly kind of, because things evolve and change and shift so quickly that it's like, even if you were planning something for a week, it might change overnight, and you go to
Oh,
shoot
yeah.
the next morning and it's like, no, we're doing something totally different now. And it's like, all right, figure it out,
Yep. Yep.
and definitely there have been plenty of experiences where, you have your oh shit moment, like what the fuck, I was ready to do this,
Yeah.
get rid of it, and then there have been many occasions where like what we end up coming out of it with is like so much better and more interesting than like anything we had talked about previously.
And that,
there's a lot of value to it.
It's a slippery slope, because I say the same thing all the time, where I'm like, the mistakes or the unknown yields these great things. And let me make it very, very abundantly clear. The only reason those great things happen is because we had to endure a million terrible things to get there. Yeah. It's that same kind of process we were talking about earlier, where it's like, and you have to work your way to a certain point in life where you are even capable to become Sorcerer Mickey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work. I've had a lot of days where I was trying to be Sorcerer Mickey and I was just a guy with a fucking mop.
Yeah.
It definitely turned out that way a few times, where, and not even like, cool, like in Break-In, where I make the fucking, I dance with the broom or whatever. It was just me standing there cleaning the floor.
Yeah.
So, but eventually, while you're cleaning the floor, the fourth time, you see a couple of the bristles start to move a little bit, and then
exactly.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's
I
it.
see,
That's
I see
it.
where this is headed. So, but no, I love that idea of having, letting people into that process, because so many people don't, and I get why. It's like
it's disgusting. It's a disgusting.
How the sausage is made. It's
yeah. I think about it in a couple of different like terms. First and foremost, anyone who actually knows me knows that I am a chaotic slob, not in like a dirty sense, but just in a messy sense.
Mm-hmm.
I leave shit everywhere, and appearances can be deceiving sometimes. And fortunately for me, I have people that have my back and make sure that I don't come off too fucking bad. But
thank you,
yeah. But like, so there's that side of it, right? Where like, do I embrace the chaotic artist side of me and really let people just see like how messy and how just, I can't even find the word to describe it. That's how fucking nonsensical it is. So there's that part. Then there's the obvious part of like, how many times do you want to let people see you fail?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to fail over and over and over and over again to succeed. And I think that's the only real, that's the only real way to get good at anything, is to just fail into success.
Yeah.
And
be fine with it,
Oh yeah, dude, I embrace it.
Yeah.
I mean, I embrace it maybe almost too much, where I'm just like, well, it was good enough.
Yeah. But it's so liberating too, to be able to like walk into certain things, and especially when obviously when we're working directly for something like show or directive related, there's that added layer of pressure, in a sense. It's like, okay, there's like a specific objective that needs to be fulfilled here, and it's not just me like relying on that.
Yeah.
And when you have those opportunities to like go into your workspace, whatever that looks like, whatever your discipline is, and not have any of that expectation on you. Like that is, it's so like liberating to be able to say like, hey, even if everything I do is sucks today, like it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, see, okay, so I think we talked about this at one point early on in the podcast, but I made that conscious choice to have that mindset with how I shared my paintings, because I've been sharing the paintings since basically day one. I was like, I'm going to let people in on the journey of me becoming a painter. And there has been a lot of positive reinforcement in that, in me sharing the entire process, because it has inspired other people to be like, I'm not going to be good at something for X amount of time, but eventually I might get good at it. And if this guy who's already really good at something else is willing to let us see how bad he is at something and then maybe eventually get good at it, it does give other people confidence to go on that journey. So I have already kind of laid that groundwork in one way, but now this is a different kind of thing, because now you're seeing me sort of in my essence or my whatever, my comfort zone, even though it's not comfortable at all. And this is where it gets interesting, because then you see someone who's trying, I'm not learning anymore. Now I'm trying to break into a place that doesn't exist. And that process is exponentially harder than learning something.
Right.
And that's where the frustration like, I love the process of learning things. That's why I've absorbed so many different facets of creativity, because the process of learning is actually something that I enjoy immensely, and I don't ever feel defeated. I understand what it takes to get to where you're trying to go, right? It's when you get to where you're trying to go and then you say, okay, well, what else is out there?
Right.
That's when it gets really ugly. Yeah. And it can get really like, I mean, I get down on myself a lot because like, I want to create things that people have never seen before. And very rarely I actually accomplish those goals, but it gets harder and harder the older you get and the more you've done to keep coming up with new things or keep coming up with things that shouldn't be accomplishable. Is that a word? Accomplishable?
Achievable, I think.
Achievable. There you go. I like that. That's a good one. Can someone out there, this is a fun project. Let's make the dictionary according to Greg. And if someone can go through all of the episodes and just start jotting down all of the made up words that I use and come up with definitions for them based on whatever context I was using them in, I think that could be a very entertaining little book. The dictionary according to Greg. I know what I'm trying to say more often than not, but sometimes my brain moves too fast and the words just don't quite get there. So I just make shit up.
That's perfect. There's actually there's a few writers that I really like that I'm pretty sure that's what they do.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fine. You know what? In context, I understood it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's
now. We have
exactly.
Lexicon. Yeah. But I think your point is a great one that like doesn't really get talked about enough too, is like, you know, that's why people drop off of things that they pick up. You know, and they're very enthusiastic about, because like the learning process is super engaging, because it's like you learn a new fucking tool and then you try it out and you're like, holy shit, I did that. Like,
there's a lot of excitement that comes with the idea of learning. Is totally.
And then once you have the tools at your disposal, it's like now the objective is like find your voice, you know, like using those things. And like that's a scary fucking place to be, and a frustrating one, and all that stuff that you just, you know, discussed. And like, that's a really.
And then once you see, this is the thing though, right? Is like, so the find your voice thing is the place everyone wants to get to, right? That's the place that everyone wants to go to. You know, and I think I got there maybe 10 years ago, right? So now for the last 10 years, I'm like, now that I have a voice, what do I do with it?
Yeah, right.
That's where it gets really, really scary.
Yeah.
Really, really scary, really, really messy, both shit everywhere, but also in here, you know? And so that's but it's equally exciting too. And this is why this whole move has been really big for me, because it's meant there's way more implications than just me getting out of Atlanta. It's me going back to my roots. It's me going to a place with less distractions. The notion of separating my work from my home was never an option until we made this move. I've always worked inside of my home because that's just always been the way it's been. And so like the opportunities that have been presented to me beyond just, you know, a break from the chaos of life has been just tremendous. And it means the world to me to be in this position after so many years, but to finally, for the first time, be like, all right, it's time to take this thing to the next level, like for real. Because in a weird little thing in the back of my mind, it's always, I think, like, by working at home and like, even though like we're successful and we do all these things and blah, 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 but it always felt almost like a game in a weird way. It's like, I just go into my basement and I play with my toys and everything's fine, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm signing a lease on this space and I have these, you know, the expenses of it all. And then the responsibility of it all to actually produce in a new way, in a bigger way. And then beyond all of that, there's this notion of like a new community that I really, 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 really want to impress. And that's something that I haven't felt in a very long time, because I've been in the same community, so to speak, for half my life. And whether it's the, you know, uppity New York art scene, or whether it's the fringe, you know, hippies in the woods out here, or whatever the case may be, none of that, the people aren't important. It's just this notion of like, I want to get my shit in front of new people. And that is a very big driving force to progress. It's like, all right, it's time to like really like step outside of the bubble. And I want to build a place where people can actually come, where it's not just me sharing shit on the internet. It's like, come check this out. Come see this wild, wacky shit that I'm fucking involved in. You know? Because you can't come to my basement.
Right. Yeah.
The 5 people that have come to my basement all walk down there and they're like, what the fuck is going on down here? But people are way more open-minded when you have some experimental art space, you know? When they're like, oh, let's see what this guy's up to. You know?
Invite people to your basement, or you could invite them to the Laser Shack.
To the Laser Shack. I'm not going to call it the Laser Shack. Fuck.
I'm going to keep, you know, much like Coca-Cola with Santa Claus, if I just keep this up for 100 years, it can eventually be the Laser Shack.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty sure Coca-Cola won in their very first campaign. So,
yeah. Okay. So they had a good start. Yeah.
They had a good start. Yes, they did.
Mine.
Well, it was funny because Chris and I actually had the conversation. She's like, what are you going to call it? I was like, I have no fucking clue. She's like, you going to call it the Shark Studio? And I was like, no. And then like, you know, at least for the interim, because, and this is an interesting thing to talk about, because I don't know if I've ever actually really clarified this or not, but so the Phoebus Cartel, I started the Phoebus Cartel during the Pretty Lights hiatus. And the idea originally was that I wanted to leave the moniker and the aura of the Laser Shark kind of in hibernation while Pretty Lights was in hibernation. So I thought in my, I don't know if it's like, I don't know what you call it exactly, but like I thought that the Laser Shark was explicitly tied to Pretty Lights. I didn't think enough of myself, I guess, to just be like, I am this character in the world of creativity or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I thought I would make a new one. And the idea was that like the Phoebus Cartel was not so directly related to live concert stuff. It was a place for me to explore other creative endeavors. And it wasn't until what was it? It was the Banks tour that I did in 2019. And it was a weird few months for me because I don't know how much crossover there necessarily is there, but I could not escape the fact that people were excited to see the Laser Shark doing lights for Banks. Mm-hmm. Like even in Europe, there were like other lighting designers and people coming up to me being like, I can't believe I finally get to see your work.
No shit.
And I was like, what?
That's so cool, man.
And it kind of like, it was a weird little like time in my life where I didn't know where I stood in a lot of ways. Mm. And that tour, or those tours, because we did a US tour and we did a Europe tour, those tours kind of helped me confront the reality that I had made a name for myself. It wasn't just this thing in the world of Pretty Lights.
Right.
Right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
So
you were a distinct entity.
Yeah.
As like a collaborator of Pretty Lights, not like
So that was that. It took that for me to kind of. That's when I really learned to embrace the whole like Laser Shark thing. And up until that point, I was just like, oh God, I can't believe I got this stupid nickname. That's that I spent years just like not resenting it, but just being annoyed by it. Mm-hmm. And so when all that happened, the timing was crazy, obviously, because this is right before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, shit, I just started this new thing and I've been putting all of my energy into this idea of the Phoebus Cartel, but it's become undeniably apparent to me that there's no escaping being the Laser Shark. Mm-hmm. So I had to kind of shift gears a little bit, and I started to put all of my energy back into just being the Laser Shark, right? So like from a social media perspective, from a industry perspective, so on and so forth, taking interviews and being like, do you want us to acknowledge this? And I'm like, yes, this is who I am. This is what it is. Let's talk about it. And so then the Phoebus Cartel kind of just like sat on the back burner for a while. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know what to do with it. The idea of the Phoebus Cartel has always been a very intriguing thing to me because I created my own context for it beyond what it originally meant, which was the Phoebus Cartel was basically a conglomeration of all the major lighting manufacturers during the Industrial Revolution. And they all conspired against the world basically to diminish the lifespan of light bulbs. So it's this like huge black eye in the history of global economics, basically, right? And they fucked the world and they set us back decades by literally making an inferior product. Because I don't know if you know about this, but there's actually a light. I don't know if it's still on, but like one of the original light bulbs that like GE or whoever or Osram or whoever made like in like 1890 is still on.
No shit.
Because the original light bulbs that they made lasted 10 times what a light bulb would last post Phoebus Cartel. And because they were like, how are we going to make any money if these light bulbs last for 10 years?
Right, yeah.
If no one's buying light bulbs,
we can't make money.
Exactly. And so there's a term for it, planned obsolescence. Mm-hmm. And it's obviously become a recurring theme in manufacturing ever since. But that's the first well-known example of it. And so I learned about this at some lighting conference a million years ago. And I was like, man, that name sounds so fucking cool. The idea is the idea of it is terrible, but the name itself is really intriguing. And so the way that I wanted to recontextualize it and try to turn it into a positive was, I think of myself as this sort of jack of all trades kind of person, right? I'm really good at lighting design. I'm really good at lasers. I'm pretty good at video. I dip a toe in all of these different practices within the realm of like visual arts, now painting and so on and so forth. So I was like, okay, well, what if the Phoebus Cartel is one person that can execute anything that is visually stimulating? And that was the spin that I put on it, right? So when it became apparent to me that the Laser Shark was inescapable, I said, okay, the Phoebus Cartel is the house that the Laser Shark lives in. And so that's why I use it for the website and the storefront and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to discover things about the Laser Shark or about my art or this or that or whatever, you go to my house, which is the Phoebus Cartel. So that's how I've kind of right. Nice. So the idea of calling the studio the Phoebus Cartel is the path of least resistance, but I also don't know if it is the right decision or not. So I'm still on the fence there. That was the whole point of this whole diatribe was, am I going to call the studio the Phoebus Cartel? Yeah. That's right. So, because that's literally what I've been saying to people that ask me about it now for the last 6 years is what happened to the Phoebus Cartel. I was like, nothing. It's the house that I live in. That's all.
Now
it's not
the literal embodiment of the
exactly. So I mean, odds are I'm just going to settle on that and it'll be fine. And I won't think about it again for 10 years until I come up with some other goofy idea. And then maybe we'll change course then. But, yeah.
I had actually yesterday or the day before, a random thought popped in my head. Which has probably occurred to you already and goes back to this whole fighting off the identity of the Laser Shark and then eventually embracing it. So your last name, Ellis, is very similar to LS, which is the abbreviation of Laser Shark. So in a way,
it gets better than that.
It gets better than waiting for you. Yeah.
Well, it gets better. It gets better. So the original, I had an email address when I first started doing lighting design, and it was my name, Ellis-D@gmail.com. And it was Ellis Designs, LSD. Har, har, har.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized that was a fucking terrible idea.
People are like, oh, I like this guy's work. And then they see your email address and they're like,
yeah, he's unhireable. That fucking idiot eats too much acid and he's a fucking guy. Yeah, he's a loose cannon. Here's the reality of the situation is I am a loose cannon and I have eaten too much acid, and hopefully my mom doesn't listen to this, but I'm pretty sure she knows by now.
Well, my mom's going to listen to this. Like, this guy you're working with?
Mrs. Weinzimmer, I can't wait to meet you.
First, I mean, in every way that this word can be applied, my mom is incredible.
I can only imagine.
It's phenomenal, and I hope you get to meet her sometime because I know you guys would have a fucking blast together.
Has she ever made it out to a show?
Yes, Northerly Island in
Oh,
2017. Yeah.
okay.
Weirdly, I was like going through some archival footage for whatever it is I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I was looking through footage of there, and one of the cameras like looked up to like the VIP area, and I'm like, oh shit, there's my mom.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was really
That's
funny.
great. Did she have
I
fun?
oh yeah, she had a great time. She's like a huge live music like fanatic. She just, she'd go to any concert and have a good time, but also, she was like, no, this is like really, really fun show. Yeah. So
Hell yeah. That's
she
awesome.
had a blast. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully if we ever make it, she's in Los Angeles. If we ever make it out to the West Coast,
Oh, she lives in LA?
yeah,
How long has she been out there for?
like 3 or 4 years now.
She went when everyone else left. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. It was well. So she was being in the suburbs of Chicago during COVID, and it
Yeah.
was like I can't go anywhere, and it sucks outside. She was because my brother lives in LA also,
Yeah.
and he's got
Oh,
a
okay.
daughter, so she wanted to be close to the granddaughter,
That makes
and
sense.
as well. But she was like, I can't. If I'm gonna be like locked away in my home again, I need
At least I can go to the
somewhere
beach.
nice. Yeah, at least I
Yeah.
can like go outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was kind of the final straw, and she was like, I'm going.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, she was actually going to try to come to Lake Tahoe, but couldn't make it, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well-
but yeah, if we ever get over to Cali,
Yeah. I don't know.
she'll be
Cali's
there,
so.
and she will introduce herself to everyone.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Well, why didn't she introduce herself in 2017?
I don't know.
I was probably unapproachable that weekend, if I'm being totally honest.
It's possible. Yeah,
It's more
she
than
was definitely
possible.
hanging around. Yeah, she was definitely hanging around. I have some pictures of her with some of the other crew members. We have a picture of her with Derek, which is adorable.
I'm trying to. There was something that happened. Well, we did that twice. Didn't we? Did Northerly Island twice, right? Did we do it in 16 and 17?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. One of those weekends was a weird weekend. I don't remember which one it was, but Chicago.
I think I was having a thing one of those weekends also. It was probably the time my mom came where there was like, because I was doing those like episodic intros to the shows that we were putting on and everything, and I think this one was like down to the fucking wire, like like the show might have started late because of me,
Oh,
type of
Jesus.
thing. Where, like people are like coming in, they're like, dude, where's this ad? I'm like, it's fucking exporting. Like I can't speed this up,
Yeah.
It takes this long to export. Shit like that, and yeah. So
Thank
I
God
think
that
I was
our
a little out of my mind that weekend too.
Thank God that our computers have gotten a little bit better now. Those exporting times are not quite as.
They were brutal. Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, that's why I just bought this new computer.
Yeah, and then it's
'Cause-
like now let me hook up my USB 2.0 hard drive and copy it onto there for you.
It's going to take 48 minutes.
Yeah. There was some foot tapping that weekend.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, there's my one great memory from Northerly Island. I think this is a good place to wrap up our episode about nothing,
Yeah,
because this is the most fucking
we've done a
random.
commendable job of maintaining.
Oh yeah,
the
of course.
nothing narrative. Yeah.
I was programming. Oh Jesus, I was programming. I was doing the overnight programming the night before the show, and I remember. I don't know. I can't remember if we had like loaded up front of house late. There was weird circumstances that surrounded this, but what I remember is because I don't use desk lights on my console. Everyone always they're like, you want the desk lights? I'm like, no, why would I need those? They're like, you need to see. I was like, no, I don't. I don't need to see the desk. Everything's fine. Don't set those up. They drive me crazy. I'm super sensitive to ambient light around me. And so I have to assume that it was the lights from the audio console that got turned on. And one of them must have been like pointed up at the roof of the front of house tent. And I just looked up and I said, oh, fuck no. And literally went straight out. There was a spider infestation in front of house. There were hundreds of spiders, and some of them like the size of like $50 like coins. Like,
nope.
It was one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in my life. And I literally, like 2 seconds, I just looked up and I was like, nope, got right the fuck out of there. I remember I went backstage and I was like, all right, this is an emergency. And we need to go buy all of the fucking raid in the city of Chicago. And you need to tell the venue that they need to clean all the front of house out before I take another step foot back out there. Like, I was freaking out. And like, I'm not even scared of spiders necessarily. Like, they don't really bother me that much. But when you see that many of them all at once, and on top of that, in that situation where like I'm supposed to be hyper focused on one thing,
right,
the last thing I need is this feeling of impending doom that just spiders in every direction are going to come, you know, just down on my shoulders or in my face or whatever. And one of the very, very, very rare occasions in my entire career where I was like, I am not taking one fucking step back out there until I know that this is dealt with. And that was
dude, fuck that. Oh my god. I actually
it was nuts.
have like some arachnophobia. It's not like severe, but it's bad enough.
Yeah.
I would have been like, no, I'm never coming back.
It was fucking terrible. It was so bad.
Who's your second choice for lighting designer?
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm not
stepping foot in there.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Damn,
it was so bad.
Supposedly, I can't remember if it's the Hancock or Willis Tower, formerly Sears Tower.
Wait, the Sears Tower changed names?
Oh, years ago. Yeah.
Really? I had no idea.
Many years ago. Yeah.
Do you think anybody outside of Chicago knows that?
Probably not. And I think most people in Chicago are like, yeah, you can call it whatever you want. Like, you know, like,
yeah,
Comiskey has been like guaranteed rate field.
Well, yeah, I mean, every arena has changed names 13,000 times now. It's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah,
but
anyone still calls it Comiskey, you know. But yeah, one of those two, either Hancock or the Sears Tower, I can't remember which one, but like apparently the rumor that I've heard at least is that like the second to top floor is like, I don't know, there's some like generators or like, you know, some kind of service shit up there apparently is completely infested with spiders. Fuck. And it's one of those things that like they've for years like have tried all these like methods to like get rid of them, they just won't go. Like, or they get rid of them and they just come back and they're
it's just too far. It's too far gone.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't know what to do. There's just like the spiders just fucking like it here. So
I think one of the things with that is, and I could be completely full of shit here, but I think that whatever method you use to kill the live spiders doesn't work on the eggs, and vice versa. And so
I've also been told that spiders don't clean themselves. Other insects do, which is like how the poison then gets into their system. Like they walk through it and then they clean themselves, and that's how they ingest it. But like spiders don't do that, so they have to just like it's kind of like a battle of attrition. Like if they just walk through the poison enough, eventually it'll kind of like seep in through other methods. But
yeah, but you're not going to get them so easily.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, good for them.
Fucking
all right. Well,
bastards.
Yeah. So to all the spiders out there.
Yep. Stay filthy.
Keep on keeping on. This has been The Stroke of Midnight, the episode about nothing.
Mm-hmm. The Weinfeld episode.
The Weinfeld episode. Nobody beats the Wiz. Oh, boy. All right. Well, that was good, Dorian.
Yeah, that was